First thing you can tell about spring is how many eggs we're getting. We were getting like maybe 2 a day there for a while, and our chickens are really picking up. So it's time to make some cream puffs. It's going to use a ton of eggs, but they're so good. So I am doubling the cream recipe and tripling the dough recipe because I don't like the ratios from the original recipe because I make them a little bit differently. So this is a double. I'm just going to tell you what you need for a single. So you need 3 egg yolks and 1/2 cup of sugar. Mix that together. Add 3 tablespoons of flour and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Mix this together. It's going to get pretty stiff. In a pot, you're going to want 2 cups of milk. You're going to take a lemon in your potato peeler, and you're just going to peel a piece of the rind off. Throw it in there. Now, you're going to want to bring your milk up to a scald, not boiling, just to where you can tell it's starting to steam and get all hot and stuff. It turns out my camera was not recording after the milk came to a scald. So what you're going to want to do is add that milk, that hot milk, in 1 ladle at a time to your egg and sugar and flour and cornstarch mixture, and whisk really quickly as you're adding it in. You don't want your eggs to start to cook too fast or you're going to end up with scrambled eggs. But once you've got all of that mixed in ladle by ladle until all of it's mixed in without the lemon rinds, you're going to put it back in the pot and put it back on the stove. Now that you've got it on the heat and you don't want, again, to make scrambled eggs out of this, although they would be very loose, you want to keep stirring this, just continuously keeping it scraped off the bottom and off the sides until we get to that right temperature. It's been a few minutes and this is starting to really thicken up, so we're going to go ahead and check the temperature. Keep it stirring. This is a point where things go wrong really fast. When it starts to bubble like that, if you don't have a thermometer, that's about whenever it's done. Now I'm going to sit here and stir this for a few seconds to make sure it's good and smooth while the residual heat clears out. Now I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Mix that in real good. I'm going to transfer this to a bowl so that I can cover it with plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for a while and let it cool. Now that we've got our Bavarian cream made, we're going to go ahead and make the dough. So we're going to start with 1 cup of water and a whole stick of butter. For me, that's 3 sticks of butter. We're going to bring this to a simmer. Now that my butter and water are simmering, we're going to add a cup of flour. Now is where the workout comes in. You're going to beat this in the pan like this. Keep stirring for 3 minutes with the flour. All right, my 3 minutes are up. I'm going to go transfer this to my stand mixer. Now, I say all the time that you don't need certain tools that you can do it without, and you can do it without the stand mixer, but you really do need some type of either hand mixer, stand mixer. I much prefer the stand mixer for this just because after we cool the dough off just a little bit, we're going to be adding eggs straight to a hot dough, and I would really prefer that not go wild. So we're going to beat this for a minute or two and let it cool off, get rid of some of the steam. Now, once that's cooled off just a little bit, after you've beaten it for a few minutes, you want it to still be kind of warm. You're going to start adding your eggs in, and you're going to do 4 of them, one at a time, while this is running. So you're not going to be able to hear me. But we're going to add one egg at a time while this thing is going so it keeps it moving around so it doesn't turn into scrambled eggs. You might have to take a break and scrape the sides of your bowl down. This is what your dough should look like whenever it's about right. It's kind of sticky, elasticy. It's not like a bread dough. It's somewhere between a bread dough and a batter. Now I'm going to take a piping bag and put this dough inside. You don't have to have the piping bag. You can definitely use a Ziploc bag and you just cut the corner off. But if you're going to do that, make sure that you have a nice round hole that you've cut out, because a lot of the time it comes out really funny shapes when you use a Ziploc bag. And we're going to take a parchment lined baking sheet and we're going to pipe this little balls like that all over. Now I gave some of these too much room. It's not going to make a big difference at all, if any. They're not really going to spread out much. They're mainly just going to puff up. So we're going to bake these at 400 degrees for 25 minutes. And then we're going to take them out. We're going to poke a little hole in the side and I'll show you that. Now that my cream has had a chance to cool, I'm going to take it out. It's a little bit congealed, so I'm going to whisk it up. And if you have a hand mixer, this is the time that you want to use it. It'll make it super smooth and delicious. I found these bottles at the Dollar Tree and I thought, man, they would hold a lot and I wouldn't have to keep refilling them. So I wanted to give these a try and we'll find out if they actually work or if I'm going to end up piping them in by hand with a bag. So after 25 minutes, this is what they're looking like. You're going to take a toothpick and you're just going to poke a hole in the side of each one of them. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, super simple, just a little hole to let the steam escape. Now we're going to put them back in the oven for another 5 minutes. When they come back out of the oven, give them a minute to cool. They're still going to be very, very hot. And you're going to poke a little hole with your bottle and you're going to fill each one of them with the Bavarian cream. You can also use one of the kids' medicine giver syringes for this. That's what I used to use. Now you're going to sprinkle the top with some powdered sugar. I like to use a mesh sieve for this so that I get a nice fine powder. But if you don't mind it being a little heavier, you can just sprinkle some on with a fork. And here they are, all done, absolutely delicious and well worth the time. Follow for more.